the topic of the discussion and hit the issues you typically find reluctant. Remove the facade to fill the gap with some substance. We undermining problems, expecting to overcome it. Please hold the applause. We doing it for the cause. People follow culture before they follow the laws. We rather face the friction and not attempt it at all. Persistence will find solutions once our contentment dissolves. There's a hard pill to swallow for anyone breathing, both for folks who stay woke and those who be dreaming. We ain't slaves, yet we still ain't experienced freedom. What we need is the keys to access the kingdom. We're all in this fallen world trying to stay intact. I'm just a beggar pointing you out to where the bread is at. So follow the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Thank Yogi Bear and the thought engineer for that on
Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday once again. I know some of y'all probably don't like Mondays, but we got something to look forward to on Mondays. Talking to you lovely people here on Man Talk Mondays. I'm Derek, the thought engineer, here with my man, comedian John Yogi. How you doing today, man?
Man, what's good, man? Brother, I'm just glad to be back on the show so we can get some rest from that busy weekend. Because we kicked it this weekend, dog. We kicked it.
Man, shout out to Wesley and Shaquanta Smith, the newly married couple. Great venue.
They did that.
I mean, everything was beautiful. Everything was lovely. Everybody had a good time. And we are tired. We are tired. Oh, my goodness. But it was lovely. I mean, just everything was top notch, man. So definitely had a good time. Congratulations to you guys. Wish you all the best. Many, many years of marital bliss. Marital bliss. That's what we want for you, right?
Yeah, that's what we want for you. Now you got to work on it and get it yourself.
Yes, sir. And put your hand to the plow, son. Hey, you work on your beautiful thing for you. Yes. Let me just remind everybody, this is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum. We talk about everything from religion to politics to relationships, but of course, we're doing it from a man's perspective. Now, keep in mind, this is not just for men. Women, you are welcome to talk to us as well, right? How you do this, you go in the comment section, leave your comment, leave your question. We can see it. And this is how you talk to us. But by all means, we want to hear from you, right? We value women's opinions. We value what you say. So we want to hear from you.
We value it a little bit. Not a whole lot. And one more thing, D. I'm going to have to get some. Do anybody know a good security firm? Because people keep running up. People keep running up on me. I'm going to have to get some security.
Pull up on me. Pull up on me.
They keep pulling up, D. They keep pulling up.
Pulling up on you.
I'm like, hey, this is for entertainment purposes only.
You never know who's listening, and people see you, but you don't see them. So.
I don't know them. They coming up to me. I don't know them. I'm like, who? Hey, because I'm used to having fans. See, that's the thing. Being a celebrity, you get used to having fans, but not like this.
Yolanda say, hey guys, it's been a minute. Excited to be back. Welcome back, Yolanda. Thank you for coming back and joining us on Man Talk Mondays.
Is that how she spell her name?
Yeah.
Is it any harder way you can spell it? She added like 30 more letters than what needed to be. But hey, beautiful, beautiful name.
And see, that's why people be looking for you in the streets. That's why people be looking for you in the streets. So you don't ever see you in the street. You better look at her page, look at her face, and recognize her.
Thank you, D.
Know what to do.
See, you helping me because I didn't know that I did that until you did something. I know now. Thank you.
Your mom said that's why. That's why right there.
Hey,
that's the phonetic spelling. Yolanda said that's the phonetic spelling of it.
Oh, okay.
Right. So in case somebody don't pronounce it, she spelled it as pronounced, so you won't get it wrong.
Yeah, but you don't have to use all 26 letters, though. I'm just asking random questions. It's good to see you, sir. It's good to see you.
Gonna catch you in the streets, man. And ladies and gentlemen, I am not the friend that he refers to that says all the crazy stuff. Let's just let y'all know that now. Right? I am not the friend.
That's all love. It's all love.
That's somebody else. Let's get the show rocking. Let's go ahead and get into it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind everybody, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our podcast. We got beautiful things happening. We're on BS3 with the BS3 network. You can find our podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, Spreaker, Bullhorn, Overcast, a whole lot of different platforms for your listening pleasure, right? So you can check us out whenever you're doing any leisure activities. You can check us out and listen to us, Man Talk Mondays. Also, we now have a direct web link to BS3 TV channel on Roku, right? It's bs3tvlive.com. So anywhere you are, you can tune into any of the BS3 content directly from your computer, your device, whatever you use. Just put in that link and you can go directly to BS3 TV and check out all the great content. We got great stuff on BS3. Great stuff. Anything for whatever you're looking for, we got you. So go check us out on BS3. Go check out the whole network, the whole family, the BS3 family. I guarantee you find something that's to your liking. Guarantee you.
And if you don't find something you like, we'll get your money back.
Money back guarantee, baby. This segment for Man Talk About It. A Man Talk About It. Now, my wife and I, we love doing Sunday brunches and things of that nature. And so we decided, let's talk about some of the places we visit. So we visited a place recently. We went to Rhythm and Brunch. That was the name of it. We went to Rhythm and Brunch. You can look it up, find out where it is and everything. We went to Rhythm and Brunch. And we were joined by Big Yogi and his lovely wife as well. So we just want to talk about what was the experience like? What was it like for you?
It was really good. The food was really good. The experience was, the place was really nice and clean. But the only thing for me, maybe just because I'm older, just the music was a little loud for me. It just, anytime I gotta yell the whole time I'm talking to you, and then when the music was on, the DJ talked more than the songs was talking. That was the only thing for me. You know, as soon as you get into it, really like, it is. The sisters at the table and the birthdays is like, oh, every song. No, I was like, other than that, it was good.
Yeah, you can tell they probably converted from a club to a restaurant because all of the speakers are club speakers. So you ain't just sitting having conversation with people at your table. No. You're gonna be yelling, trying to talk to people, and y'all gonna be sitting there texting each other because it's loud. It is loud. I don't know, we sound like two grumpy old men right now.
We do. But this is me the whole time. Huh?
Whenever you have a brunch place, the music is like background. Yeah, that music was not background. It was all in your face, in your ear, and the whole nine. It was a club. The DJ was doing a little bit much.
It was a club. It was a club. It was a club that had food in it.
Yeah, the food was good though.
The food was, well, that jerk chicken though.
Jerk chicken was good.
That jerk chicken was good. Went hard in the bank. Jerk chicken was really good.
The greens were good. I know my wife had the chicken and waffles. The waffles had a little cinnamony type thing going on with everything. Mm-hmm. I got me some oxtails. I love getting me some oxtails when I go somewhere where I can find them. Got some oxtails. Oxtails are good. My wife, I'm from the country, man. We ate oxtails where I'm from. So some of y'all feel me out there on the oxtail.
Oh yeah, we feel you. We not always have money either, so we know about oxtails. We know about oxtails. Cheap. It's a little bit of meat on to make you work real hard for that little bit of meat. By the time you get through with one oxtail, you tired. You got to go sit down. Like, I'm full. I think I'm full at least. I'm full and tired because I had to work for that meat.
You can burn your calories while you eat. See that? See what I'm talking about? That's good food, man. Burn your calories while you eat.
There you go.
That's what you want. If anybody has been paying any attention, this is something that I recently came across it myself. But I saw this video where this woman was striking this baby. But it turns out this Florida woman, black Florida woman, she is now behind bars after video of her striking her baby went viral.
You know, you must have hit that baby good for that video to go viral, though. You know that baby must have been looking just like his daddy. Because you ain't nothing like a slap from a woman who mad at the daddy, who slapping the kids. Ain't nothing like it.
It was sad, man, because she was expressing her anger about the baby's daddy posting something, and out of your anger for the baby daddy, you strike the baby, you hit the baby, and then put it on social media.
See, to me, that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. You are comfortable enough with doing stupid stuff to where you say, "Hey, look, this is what I'm doing," and they said, as soon as they seen it, they sent a police car right to the house and got her and the baby.
As they should.
Yeah, you're right.
The baby was just laying there, and she just started hitting on the baby, man.
See, they need to have a social media police that can come to your house and get you for doing stupid stuff. See, we hadn't people think about this, D. You know how much stupid stuff is either said or done on social media? See, that'll stop that. That'll stop that foolishness. That'll stop that foolishness. Because that's foolishness.
And I guarantee you, she didn't really take into account just how fast it was going to take off.
Until that book got around 2 million hits. And the baby was like...
What? No, man, because you about to say something. I know you about to say something crazy, man.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm simply saying, sometimes we don't know the gravity of what we doing until we do it in front of people. Because people have a way of letting you know, hey, you out in that water. You out in that water out there. You out there. And I think because everybody was calling her about it. I'm sure of that. I'm sure everybody was calling her about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But she gonna find out. People don't take kindly to abusing babies. They don't take kindly to it. You're supposed to protect them, man. You're supposed to, here it is, the baby laying down and she can't even take a nap.
Whoa. I'm not saying that the baby deserves to be slapped. I'm just simply saying.
You better make sure you make that clear. That's not what you're saying.
We gotta remember.
Hate mail.
Hey, I want my followers to get no bigger.
You talking about people catching you on the street, boy?
I'm simply saying she was upset at the dad, and a lot of times when you having baby by these different guys, and he do something, and you left with the kid catches the brunt of it. The kid catches the brunt of it. So you got to remember that when you land up having these babies with these guys that you're probably not gonna stay with. You got to remember that he gonna leave with that kid, and he gonna look just like him. Boy, you're gonna want to fight every time you look at him.
Well, kids looking like they daddy, and we talking about getting with other people. Something strange. Now this is strange to me. I think it crosses a line to me. So Pete Davidson, who's now currently dating Kim Kardashian. Yeah. It has been said that he has tattooed her children's initials on his collarbone.
You know how good in bed you got to be for a man to jump up and say, you know what? I'm finna put them kids on me. I'm finna put them up somewhere. Girl, you got D.
Most people put them on your insurance or something. He put them on, put tattoos on the neck, really?
Brother.
The disrespect, man.
You right. If they had normal names like Sam, Dave, Rudy, Pat, John, Willie, they don't have normal names. They got Chicago, Chicago, Philadelphia, Birmingham. What's the name?
So the tattoo said it was all of their initials starting with Kim. So it's like KNCSP. So that's Kim, North, Chicago.
See, that's
not what the S was, and then the other one is Song. I think his name. So
that's a lot. That's a lot.
That's wait. Disrespectful, man.
Have they been dating long enough for you to do that without running her off? Because if you do that to if you get a black chick kids on your neck, she gonna put you on child support.
Dude, you know the crazy thing? Not to veer off too far. I heard a story where this guy volunteered to babysit this girl's child.
And she put him on
and she in turn put him on child support, and I think it almost took. Okay, so Dr. Selena said all of her kids' names are one syllable. She said there's power in naming your kids with one syllable. Wow.
Yeah, she got power too.
This dude right. This dude right.
Hey, it ain't in the name either.
So he's willing to accept responsibility for these kids.
I'm just gonna put their name down. No, he ain't say that. He just willing to put their name down. He ain't say respect to do that. He ain't say that. Nope. He just glad. He just wanted to express how glad he was to be with him.
But if you ain't willing to accept responsibility for them, why go to such extremes? Like I said, put them on your insurance or something. I guess they don't need insurance, all that money they got. But I'm just saying, Monique said that's way too much. But most of the time, money takes their mind.
I don't quite know if it was. I would agree it was money though.
That's the names: North, Saint, Chicago, and Song.
Don't you think Saint is is really hard to kind of live up to though, and he bad?
I don't know the kid. I don't know if he bad.
It just seems like a lot. It's a lot. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. It just seems like a lot for me.
Yeah, it is a lot. And so is taking on a whole nother family. Yes. So is taking on a whole nother area of responsibility. So we're going to get into it tonight. What we're talking about tonight, we're going to be discussing blended families, the realities of step parenting. Blended families, the realities of step parenting. And we decided to call in an expert tonight. We got with us tonight, we got Dr. Pastor Reverend Dr. Sam Fenceroy.
He got two
with us tonight.
He got two doctors today.
Reverends.
No.
Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for being on with us. We definitely appreciate you hopping on with us.
I've been listening to you guys, and I don't know.
You don't know if you're right.
I'll be on my best behavior.
Hey, I'm in the wrong crowd. I'm too old for this.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and this is one of the main reasons why we called you on this show. I remember, and this was some years ago, but I remember a message you preached one time. You talked about my blender isn't blending.
Yes, I remember that. I don't know the notes, but I remember it.
I should have had to get your notes. So you
I'm remember it.
But my blender isn't blending, and you preached the whole message about blended families and step parenting. A whole message, and it was some heavy stuff in there.
That's difficult. It's a difficult task, really. If people knew what they were getting into, and most of them don't, and that's why most of them don't survive.
Why don't you think people really think through the process? Why don't you think they really? Do you think they actually know what's in store for them?
Maybe they watch the Brady Bunch and shows like that.
Oh yeah, the Brady Bunch was a blended family.
Yeah.
And even behind the scenes of the show, there was a whole bunch of mess going on. Behind the scenes of that show was chaotic. But now we've said this before, that music and movies are the lies we tell about love. And it must be the lies we tell about families too.
Facebook is also one of the areas we tell lies.
Yeah.
Oh, he just go throw the grenade on him.
You know, I told this one friend of mine. He congratulated his wife and he said all those sweet things. I said, "Hey man, you just threw me under the bus."
Oh, you telling me threw you under the bus?
Because I can't do that. I can't just make up stuff and say stuff just to sound good for people. I don't tell my wife that every day. If I'm not telling her that every day, why should I get on Facebook and tell all those lies?
Well, but Pastor, most of the time we want people, we want to be perceived as we living and doing all of the right things, and because to a lot of us that's more important than actually doing the right thing.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand.
Now I know we don't agree with it.
Hey, Big Yogi, and then get divorced next week.
Oh yeah, because that's coming.
Okay.
Because I've seen plenty of that. And you take a people who have a family. Do you think people really consider that if I break off from my family, I leave the door open for somebody else to step in and be either a father or a mother to my children? Do you think they think that far when they in the heat of it?
No, they don't. But it's all demonically influenced. The devil is the one that causes people to not think. When most people walk away from their family, they're not thinking. I'm a perfect example. I did 40-some years ago. I wasn't thinking. It took a preacher to come to my house, come to my job, and explain to me, "You're doing a foolish thing, and God is not pleased." I was in church, but I really wasn't saved.
You mean that can happen, right?
Oh yes.
Well, I think one of the misconceptions is when it comes to this kind of thing, I think people believe that love will conquer all. I love he, I love she, so I know we can get together, and I know that thing will work.
You heard my synonym. No. I forgot what I was trying to say. For love, my acronym for love.
No, what's that?
What's the acronym?
It's the L stands for lust. The O stands for observation.
Okay.
And most people never get past the observation point.
Wow.
If you can get victory over the observation point, now you have victory. And then the E is eternal. That means you're in love. And so most people fall in lust and they just go around saying, "I just love him, I love her." And then when they start living together or married to one another, they discover they have issues. They observe them over a period of time and they have issues. And most people can't get past the issues.
And because you just said something key. It falls apart at the observation. Now I'm not saying it falls apart, but do people ignore what they've observed and they move forward when they shouldn't?
Well, you remember that the teaching I did talking about the 6th room you must visit before you say I do?
Yes.
Yeah. Because most people don't talk. The average person, when they meet someone, all it is chit chat. You know, they just chit chat, and anybody can talk and get along chit chatting. Usually over a meal, and you talk about how wonderful that person is, but you don't know who that person really is. You're just chit chatting, and then the next level, people talk about what other people are saying. Yeah, my pastor said this, my boss said this, but you still don't know who they are.
Wow.
See, because you chit chatting at the table, and when you leave the table, you pick patting. And when you pit patent, it make it hard to see because you blind now. You blind now. You can't see what's right in front of you when you pit patent.
Proverbs says a fool will utter everything about himself, but a wise man, he keeps his mouth quiet.
All right. Tramisha says, I don't think every childish female has the heart to be a stepmother. I've heard ladies say horrible things about their spouses' other kids.
Yes.
Well, okay. But there's so many people involved, though. It's the other mother involved. It's what they telling them. Well, that's the woman he left you for. Or it's just no telling what's really going on in the ears of those kids from the other house. So when they come over your house, my job is to create hell at this house over here. Because this is what we getting at home from our mom or our dad or whatever the case may be.
That happens a lot. The parent that's left with the kids usually speak negative about the husband and his new girlfriend or whatever, and so the kids hear that. But most kids don't want to see their father, their mother succeed with someone else.
That's true. You're right.
So whether someone said anything or not, most of them do not want them to succeed.
I have noticed that kids will hold out hope that the parents will eventually come back together.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, if most parents gave themselves time, they probably would. But usually, when they leave, someone is whispering in their ear, and so they don't have time to think. And by the time they think, it's too late. They're already out there.
Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Charlotte said that's true even with older kids. So she says you don't really outgrow that desire. You still hold on to it.
And especially teenagers, what they usually tell the stepmom or stepdad, you're not my mama, you're not my daddy.
That's the first thing come out of their mouth. That's the first thing come out of their mouth. Yes. You ain't my daddy, you ain't my best. That's the first thing come out of their mouth.
What that means is you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, but you want me to come in here and pay and buy groceries and have electric and the cable on? You want me and I can't tell you nothing? I got a problem with that.
So Monique says, so as discussed before, there are levels to this, and it takes time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But are people taking the necessary time that it takes, or do they feel like there's this pressure to go ahead and lock somebody down? Charlotte says, I'm talking adult kids too also. Okay, so you're talking about even grown people have this issue.
People should spend time in counseling with someone about blended families, how to deal with blended families, because it's not the nuclear family, it's different. And so you can't go in with the same mindset as if everything was born under the same roof. It doesn't work that way.
So if you're doing marital counseling with a couple who has their own set of kids, would you advise that all of them come to premarital counseling?
I think that's the great idea. Most people don't want to get them involved, but they need to know what they're going to face. And the kids need to be able to speak their piece.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't want you married my mama.
Would nobody get married?
I'm serious. Pastor, I was with you. Everything over to that last part. I'm like, but Pastor, and it's important because whether you hear the kids or not, they're going to act it out anyway. So you might as well hear them.
There's a different discussion you have with the whole family, okay? Mm-hmm. You actually cater your conversation around certain areas. You just don't open the floor for all kinds of stuff, okay? Because you want to get an idea of what the kids feel about this relationship. And even though they're saying one thing, Pastor Gloria said this well. She said, you have to listen to what people are not saying.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have to be able to hear things they're not saying. So they might say, "Oh yeah, I like him. That's fine. It's gonna be okay." And you can tell in their mind and on their faces they're totally against this thing.
Mm-hmm. So let me throw us a quick scenario. All right. So let's say you have a young lady who has her kids, and then you have a young man he has his own kids, but of course the kids are with their mother. what is the expectation of that woman when that man now comes into the house? Is it you take care of my kids and your kids, or is my kids now the big focus?
Primarily, even though they may say they're all equal, they're not.
They're not.
Because what the new wife says is, you sent your $150 child support. That's enough.
Oh, wow.
It's what happens at my house. And so they don't really consider that. And the key thing is, as long as the person is doing what he has to do, they don't do an extra. Most of them.
Oh, wow.
Or you got to sneak and do it.
I wasn't going to say that, but John,
yeah, that's why I'm here, Pastor. I say it.
Charlotte says sometimes there simply won't be peace when it comes to the kids, because you can be a great step parent and it literally still not be good enough.
Yes, I agree. Because there are forces fighting against you. It's like, even though you do the right thing or you attempt to do the right thing, usually when step parents are trying to be nice, then the kids will know, what's the agenda? Why are you trying to be nice to me? You're not my mom. My mom is across town, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And really, when you look at it, the chance of people getting into a step parent situation is very highly likely now, especially if you anywhere beyond 25. The chances go way up.
Yes.
Yeah. Of you ending up in a blended family situation.
Yes.
The problem I see is, the older you get, the desperation to lock somebody down increases. And so you don't, like you said, you don't take time to do the careful observation you need to take before you bring somebody into this situation.
Well, yeah, but observation, I'm sorry, let me just say this. Observation, though, is one thing. But most of the time, lust is a difficult thing to get past, number one. Right. And because I'm looking at you, you got that, you dragging that wagon, you pretty, you fine, and you got a kid. So before I even start talking to you, I'm thinking anyway, oh man, she got a kid. I just hope it ain't no drama with the baby daddy. Because as long as I'm with her, I think I'm gonna be good. But too many times it's drama with the baby dad. And if it's a small kid, now am I supposed to try to be his daddy, or what? Do I play basketball with him? Do I play kickball with him? Do I hit him with the dice ball? I'm trying, because these are all the things that need to be talked about or need to be discussed with her before you actually get to. But Pastor, you know better. You know we run past all of that.
Well, Brother John, you said something about lust is hard to get past.
Mm-hmm.
You get past it after you get it.
Oh, wait a minute.
we should have some shout music right now.
Because there you go.
Pastor T.D. Jake said this years ago. He said there is not like there once you get there.
You better say that. You better say that now.
It doesn't matter what you're going after. Once you get it, it loses its value.
Wow. It's all about
so now, all you see now is the problem. Because the lust passes over.
You done conquered, you got what you came for. Now it's time to deal with the rest. Now it's time to deal with the rest of it. Yes.
You know, I tell young girls all the time, a guy will marry you just to have sex with you.
Ooh.
If he gotta wait that long.
No. He will play the game.
Yes.
He will take his nice girlfriend out and take her home at 10 o'clock and say, I'm going to go to bed. I got to get up early in the morning and then to go to the club.
Oh, yeah. Samantha said, well, say that. Ivan says, wow. I told you, we bringing out the heavy hitters today, baby. We got Pastor Sam on. He is dropping knowledge for you tonight. Charlotte says, no, they want to take advantage. And when they can't take advantage, they want to be disrespectful. But when you give them what they give you, it's a problem. As it relates to older kids. So she's talking about the whole step parenting, which brings up a good point. If you're in a step parent situation, say that this woman has these boys, and she's raising these boys, and all of a sudden she marries this man, and she like, here, discipline my boys. Is that
no? That's the problem. No, that's the problem. It's her responsibility to discipline the kids. Now, it's his responsibility to support her in the process.
But if they boys pass and they getting bigger, she can't really. A woman, and we all know.
That's where the support comes in. She does the discipline. He supports her.
Mm-hmm.
He has her back. You guys, you don't remember this because that was before Derek's time. That was the guy that was 13 years old. He was about 6'3". His mom was about 50 years old, and he was giving her the blues. And she couldn't discipline. So I asked for permission. And when I went over and took my belt because she couldn't do it, and beat his behind. And whispered in his ear and told him, I'm not going to tell anybody I did that to you. I'm not going to tell your friends.
What you tell him? If you do it again, I'm coming back.
But kids won't even though the mom says it, they'll hate the step parents for doing it.
Yeah. Even though they know they deserved it and needed it.
Yes.
So you heard it here. You can't turn over the discipline to the step parent.
Nope.
As the parent, you got to be the person to lead in the discipline. Ivan says the absolute best advice I can give is to never put your hands on step/bonus children. Never.
He's like a wise man.
Monica says, my daughter's stepmom resented my daughter because she was her dad's first child. And even more when she found out she couldn't have children.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All that. You're going to get all that. You getting all that smoke. Or that kid is going to get it. I think it's now, let me say this. Pastor, as much as I agree with you, I just think when you're in it, it's difficult because I got some friends of mine that have blended families. And the boys, when the boys get older, the more slick they get with their mouths, and you be wanting to touch them up, and the mom. It's just if y'all not on the same page when it comes to every aspect of dealing with the kids, it's gonna be problems. It's gonna be problems.
I can say this, especially if you got into the relationship wrong.
Now go into a little bit more detail with getting into the relationship wrong. What do you mean by that? So the people know.
One of the things, let's say you were already married, and you're dating his or her mom, and then you leave your wife and you join them. They don't respect you.
No.
See, because again, as you said earlier, maybe their mother and father was already separated or divorced, but they still had the hope that there was a chance they would get back together. And so you came in and you squashed all that.
So how much time should a person wait if they get divorced from the daddy or something? How much time should they wait before they even entertain bringing somebody else in? Let me get Alicia's comment. She says step parents are the GOAT. It takes a special person because it's not easy at all. He's talking about it's not easy to be a step parent. So if you do it and you do it right, you are a great person.
Yeah, but step parents are goats too, though. They can be goats too. We had a step mama. She used to. Yeah, it was. Bless her heart. Bless
Sounds like you need some healing, need some therapy.
I had a great stepmother.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't that great.
I was 40 years old when I got her, but you know.
You were 40, okay.
I don't know. I was pretty old. No. I guess actually I was about. I guess when I met, I was probably like 16 or so. But she was always kind and nice, and so I never had a problem. Nope, she never attempted to discipline me at all.
But don't you think it's the responsibility of the person that's actually adding the step parent in to make sure the coast is clear, if I can use that analogy, so before they can bring their kids in? Because ultimately, I think so. It's up to the parent, right?
I think the person who's actually bringing the other person in, the responsibility is going to be on him or her, whether it's a wife or a father, mother or father.
But how many times do you think people bring somebody else in because they're looking for relief being this single parent is whooping they behinds, and so I need some relief. So come on, be my husband, be my wife, because I need some help. And then they don't really, take on that weight of their responsibility of making this thing work. How often do you think that happens?
All the time. Two reasons. Usually a financial help is I need.
Woo-wee.
It's a struggle.
Talk about it.
Now, the second thing is I need somebody to help me discipline these kids. But you allow them to do what they wanted to do for 10 years or 5 years or whatever, and all of a sudden you want someone to come in and lay down the law, and it's not going to work.
They're going to fight. Yeah. And more times than not, she's going to take their side anyway.
Ultimately, if he goes too far, and who determines what's too far? That young man said earlier, don't ever, because if you spank him, then she says it's too hard.
Pastor, you got to do it the way she wants you to do it.
Yes.
You got
right. Hey, ain't it the same with your regular kids though?
It surely is.
Clint say, I guess I am kind of different because I don't believe in step. If I have to raise a child, then I'll look at them as my child.
Great concept. Doesn't always work. But
see, I didn't want to say it. I wanted Pastor to say it because they used to me saying it.
Yeah,
so I wanted Pastor to say it. It sounds good.
It sounds great in theory.
Yes, it sounds great in theory. But everybody got to be along for that ride, though. And normally they not.
And I'm telling you, TV has messed us up because in every TV show where there's a blended family, for the most part, things work well. Occasionally there's a problem, but most of the time things work well.
TV shows got us ruined, Pastor. They got us ruined. They got us. I believe they have us believing that love will conquer all. Oh, we don't have to talk about that stuff. We don't have to talk about it. It'll work itself out. And that stuff and it don't work itself out.
No, it doesn't.
It has to be talked about. And then even then, after you're in a relationship, it may not work out still because their rationale or way of thinking may be completely different from yours as far as dealing with the kids.
I said something yesterday in church, in my message. I talked about, we use the term, it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds great in theory, except what if the village don't think like you think?
Oh, that's a great point because that's not your village.
Yes.
Village is a common group of people that have the same mentality.
Exactly.
That's your village.
Just
because somebody stay next to you don't make them your village.
Now watch this. When I was a kid, the village had basically the same concept. You can talk to a guy my age and he'll tell you things about his parents, and it'll seem like his parents was your parents because they raised kids the same way, basically. Same standards, same stuff.
Not today. No.
And the crazy in the Black community, you definitely don't see that. I can remember going to parts of Plano, and there was a whole Indian community, and all of the kids are out playing, and they're just playing amongst each other. And the parents are out there watching, but you can tell there's a commonality where the kids feel safe no matter where they are in their neighborhood. But that's different because they all at least believe the same thing, or they came together, as a village, as a community. Alicia says so true. Whenever I have my bonus baby, she's my child. But like Pastor said, everyone has to be on board with that. So how do you get the other people? If you married, you got the other parents. How do you get everybody on board? Let me get Charlotte. Charlotte said, I feel like there has to be a clear understanding of the roles and responsibilities. Right. So how do you begin to get people on board? How do you even work towards that?
Start with conversation. But it starts with conversation before the act. See, you have to think through some of these things. You have to know what you're getting into. And some parents are never going to agree. Some spouses are never going to agree. They're never going to work with you. So do you want to take on that role?
And like you said, Pastor, it's much more important to find out that on the front end than while you're on the back end.
Amen. And
like, how much time do you have to wait? Because there is some resentment. How much time do you have to wait out the resentment? Because if you take on a step parent role, that other parent that's outside your relationship, if they have a certain feeling towards their former husband or wife, whatever, then they, of course they're gonna always have friction with you.
You know, that's a good question. That's a good question. But I think this though. I think you wait as long as it takes. I think there is no set time because I got a friend of mine that the whole time him and his wife divorced, she was bitter a lot of the time. And after a couple of years, when she met somebody and got married, she was better about him doing it, which don't make it right, but nevertheless, it made it easier for him to do something. Then I just think because a lot of times we tend to rush into stuff because we're trying to hurry up and get out of that. No, I don't think that's always the best thing. As a matter of fact, I think everybody needs some time between that.
I tell people that if you're going to get divorced or break up with somebody, you need a couple of years.
See,
time.
Yes.
It sounds crazy, but if you continue to jump out of one relationship into another, all you're going to be doing is going through a relationship. You're never going to establish anything.
Well, you said this, and I think this is the commonality. You said when you divorce, for two people that's been stuck together, it's like they've been ripped apart.
Yes.
And they got open sores and all this stuff that's open, and you got to get that stuff time to heal before you try to connect to somebody else. I thought that was a great analogy. Thought that was a great one, but yeah, that's
you remember my chewing gum analogy?
It's a chewing gum analogy.
You take a piece of chewing gum and you stick it to a piece of paper, and when you pull it away, you leave some of the chewing gum on that paper. You take that same chewing gum and you stick it to another piece of paper, and you don't leave as much. Eventually, that gum won't stick to anything.
Oh, wow.
And so people are going through life, they're leaving parts of them with all these different folk, and eventually you meet somebody who's perfect. They're a virgin, they're all this, but you can't stick, you can't connect.
Wow.
That's serious. All right, Alicia says, first the other party has to get over the bitterness. She said that. Then Tremisa says, I agree with this. I could help financially and mentally and with all kinds of things with my ex kids, but he didn't think of what was okay for me to speak up when they were being disrespectful teens. My ex is the key word. So he didn't back her, she's seeing the disrespect.
But let me say this. But let me explain why that is a lot of times. Why people kind of defend their kids. They know they're not with their mom or daddy. They know that life hadn't been like it was supposed to be. And they had did what they supposed to do. So now I got to be more lenient with the kids because I didn't handle it like it was supposed to be handled. Or I feel like they feel some kind of way, and I'm trying to overcompensate for them because I'm feeling some kind of way about them. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. Out of guilt.
Yes, exactly. Basically, I went around the corner to say guilt.
One of the things that we don't talk about is that even grown kids don't get over this. And one of the ways you know they've not gotten over it is when the person dies. Their mom, their dad dies, and the other kids come in and want to take everything. They ignore the living spouse.
Oh,
wow. I want my mama's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I see it all the time.
Alicia is feeling you on that chewing gum analogy. She says, woo, that chewing gum analogy will preach. Now, Kenny says, you can wait all the time you want. And you have all the conversation you want. But it's all agreed in theory until you actually do the blending.
Well, at least if you have the conversations up front, you can say, but we talked about this.
Hey.
You always go back, but whoa, this is why we talked about this early. This is why we talked about this before this happened, because I didn't want us to be right here. So now you got to go in there and repent because you had lied when I had said what I had said when I said that.
At least you have a foundation to build on.
Yes, exactly.
We talked about this. We discussed this. I'm not just making this up. Yes. At least if the person is rational, at least you have an opportunity to work through it.
Boy, that's a big word right there, Pastor. Rational.
Right.
We don't often find out people not rational until we with them. And like, oh, wait a minute. What,
You know why?
really?
But John, because my 6th room, there were some steps we skipped. We didn't talk about who we were. We didn't talk about the things that we've had experienced. All we want to do is have chit chat and go to the bedroom
And do the pit pat.
and then that's all we have in common is chit chat and bedroom. And whenever we face a problem, whenever we discuss real issues, what we believe, who we really are, there's a fight. So we go bedroom, chit chat.
Dr. Selena says he gave that chewing gum analogy to every boyfriend I ever had. For those of you who don't know, yes, this is my wife's father. So Dr. Selena, this is her father who's speaking. He gave the analogy to all the boyfriends she had. So every boyfriend she had, he gave that analogy. So,
Son, I talked to you. I talked about you yesterday. Remember the story I told you? I said, boy, you remind me too much of myself. In the eyes of people, I was really good. And so
I was done with a lot of the foolishness by then. I was tired. I was tired. Tremisa says, this is why you're a married woman now, sis. She's talking to Selena.
The key thing is, I tell people, work out your problem with your spouse. If you're married right now, because just getting rid of your husband, now if he's abusing you, beating up on you, things like that's different. But most people don't have that problem. They have disagreements. And just because you disagree with your spouse, the next one you're going to disagree with. Eventually, you're going to have to work that thing out or stay by yourself.
You know, the crazy thing about marriage, most of the time, when we get divorced, we're looking for a reason to leave. And when you married, they're going to give it to you. If you don't want to stay married, they're going to give you a reason to leave if you don't want to stay married.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't want to believe in Jesus, you can find a reason not to believe in him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You're looking for it, you're going to find it. But what about when you got people, they married, they got kids, but that one person is just so locked into themselves that they not considering the damage they gonna do to the kids if this thing falls apart.
They don't think about that.
Yeah,
they don't think about that.
But most people are selfish. Most people are selfish.
Exactly.
And go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead.
No, and the one thing that people say is that I came out of a broken home, and I look at me, I made it. They don't realize how messed up they are.
Oh wow! Now you said a whole mouthful right there.
You did.
A whole mouthful, because everybody's so messed up that it seems like, you know, it's common.
It's normal. That's the norm. Everybody, because think about this.
Can I get
a lot of my generation people came from single family home, Pastor. All of us, the whole village, everybody didn't have no dad. We were looking for daddies. We had signed up. Have you seen our daddies? Because they all went to get cigarettes and they came back yet. And it made it common for us to be that way. So, and we think it's the norm. But
can I do a commercial?
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I preached a message on yesterday. What do you do when your weeds look like your grass?
Oh.
You're so messed up you can't tell the difference between weeds and grass. And that's where we are.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. What used to be grass now has become weeds, and we accept it as grass.
That's true. You preached on the wheat and the tares. That's what you preached on.
It came out of that scripture.
Came out of
wow.
So wow. Go to my daughter church of Plano YouTube. What do you do when you're weed?
Mika said, "Preach, Pastor Sam."
No, the thing is, we've gotten so far off until people don't know what regular is, what norm is. Son, you preached a message talking about true north years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We've lost our true north.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So you don't know which direction you actually going in, and what's the actual direction you need to go in.
No.
And that's even with families. That's with marriages. Monique said, "Yeah, them weeds be blending in." Alicia said, "Y'all better pass the collection plate." Nell says LOL. He said we accept it as grass.
We do. After a while, we call it all grass anyway.
I heard this guy say this. He said, we allow people to give us rat droppings and call it rice.
Oh. You're right.
Well, I would imagine that we put up a fight at first, Pastor, but I imagine after a while we just kind of take what people give us. I think that's kind of how we are with relationships as well.
Yeah, somebody's controlling.
Clint say, I deal with this on a daily basis. With dealing with substance abuse, all of the stories, most came from broken homes.
You think, Pastor, if we had any idea how it would affect generations of us for not staying together, that we would do any different, or we would still be selfish in those moments?
No, most people I talk to who were married and got divorced, me included, I say the same thing. If I had known what I know now, I would have stayed with my first wife. Now, my wife is wonderful. But after 2 years, I left her. And I realized what you're doing is just perpetuating a lifestyle of divorce. And you've got to stop and work out your problems.
Wow.
My mom and dad was married 23 years, got divorced. In their 90s, they admitted we blew it. They were both in their 90s.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It never goes away.
No, they realized we should have worked it out.
Selena says, then you wouldn't have had me. That's so Selena said.
I love
Selena,
you, baby.
We want good reasons, Selena. We don't want bad. We want good ones.
That's a good reason. That's number 3 there. That's my baby.
Tremisha says, I think the settling for anything is the problem. You can't be okay with weeds. I think you just started something with the weeds, Pastor. I think you're going to find some hits on your Mount Olive page after this show.
Right. You have to deal with them one at a time. I told a young lady once she was having all kinds of problems. And I just faced her and said, look, baby, your problem is you have too many sins.
Oh.
Everybody sins, maybe, but you got too many. You got to decide to get rid of some of the sin. Your life will never change.
Tell it like a TI is. Tell it like
he said you got one too many sins. Your bag turned open.
Listen, I don't know how many you're supposed to have, but she had too many, okay? It was obvious.
He said, baby, you're doing too much. You're doing too much in the streets out there now. You got too much. You're dragging too many.
All right. This has been an awesome conversation. Tremisha says, ouch, Pastor, ouch. Mika says, come on, Pastor. Too many sins.
I ain't never heard that. I ain't gonna lie. I've never heard that. That is something that's
I never said it before. I never said it. I looked at the guy. And I said, she's doing this and this and this. And that's too much. You'll never survive involved in all those things.
Right. Just pick one. Get good at that.
Who was the young lady said about the weeds? Count them as weeds, and you got to pull up some of those weeds. You just can't let them all grow.
You're absolutely right. This has been a great conversation. Right. We're going to go to our final thoughts. So, Pastor, what final thoughts you want to leave the people with tonight?
Listen, the word of God is true. It doesn't matter how we slice it. The word of God is true. The Bible is true. So our goal is to do the best we can to live according to the word of God. And it can't be based on our personal feelings, our personal wants, our selfishness, because that will always fail.
How y'all gonna make me go out, Pastor Sam? I'm just like, look, okay. So my final thought for this evening is this: before you say I do, make sure we have conversations. Before you say I do, make sure you say I will. I will have those conversations, because man, it just seems like too many times we on third base coming around home, and we hadn't had those basic conversations. I think Pastor's definition of love was really good, and like he said, most of the time we stop at observation. We got to get past that, and the only way we can get past that, guys, we got to start talking. We have to start talking. We have to talk on the front end. It's important. Most of us talk too much anyway. When we get married, you won't be quiet. So use that same energy at the beginning and drag that into the marriage. That's my final thought.
Yeah. Pastor brought up a good point. He talked about we get so confused we can't tell weeds from grass. But I think a bigger problem is most of us are so happy to have a lawn that we'll accept anything. You got to be careful with desperation, being desperate for somebody to rescue you from a situation, being desperate for somebody to save you from yourself or save you from your problems. It's in those desperate times that we make our worst decisions. God is always trying to help us avoid desperation because he knows what we do when we're desperate. And this is why you got to admit that you're blind. Most of us are walking around and we bumping into stuff, tripping over ourselves and everything because we will not admit that we're blind. But when you admit that you're blind and let him lead you, you can avoid a lot of the problems. But you must first admit that you are blind. Put your hand in his and let him lead you. That means whatever he tells you to do, you got to do it. You got to do it. This is when that lawn will grow with good grass, weed free, because he knows the difference when you don't. He knows the difference between a good person and a bad person when you don't. But you got to be willing to listen to him. So it's time to avoid some of this headache and heartache that come along with all of this blended family stuff. And let's start doing it God's way and get God's results. And that's our King Speaks for this week.
Are we still live?
Yes, and y'all gonna make me pull my Bible out next time. I'll be ready.
This was great. This was great. You can say a great show. Listen, we try to bring y'all stuff that's gonna help y'all. I'm telling you, we clown, but if you listen, you gonna catch something.
Yeah.
You can say, I want y'all to know I done shouted twice during this show. Lionel said fire. So yes, it's been a great show. We knew what we were doing, bringing him on. We knew what we were doing. Because I told you, he preached this message years ago and I never forgot it. I never forgot it. And I know a lot of people with blended family, so I knew he was the right person to bring on. So we definitely appreciate you, Pastor Sam. Go check out Mount Olive Church of Plano. You can find them on YouTube and Sunday mornings.
Yeah, subscribe. You don't have to come. Just subscribe. and catch one every now and then. Every now and then, it'll help you. It'll help you.
So I just check last week's message out. So
I just want to say I appreciate your honesty, because a lot of times we don't want it can only help people if we be completely honest about what's going on. And I appreciate that, because I'm sure today we've helped somebody. We got some hard-headed folk that be listening, but I'm sure today you got through and helped somebody.
No, Brother John, listen. As I said before, I talk to so many people that have been divorced and remarried, and they all say the same thing. Probably 80% of the people I've talked to. Now, there are certain situations that people say, I don't want to, no part of that. But most people realize my situation wasn't that bad. Sister Christine, you remember Sister Christine, the past? Sister Christine, I remarried her and Brother Ali about 20 years ago.
Okay. So
and you know
I didn't know that. I didn't know they had been divorced. I thought
she said, my husband made me mad and I left him. And I heard you preach that you have to have biblical reasons to get divorced, and mine wasn't biblical. So we're going to get married again.
Well, my wife handcuffed to me. She handcuffed to me, so I can't pick the lock, so I ain't going nowhere, Pastor. I ain't going. I'm right here.
She got the key, buddy. You ain't going nowhere.
No. It really is what you make out of it. Marriage is really what you make of it. It really is. If you're looking for a fairy tale marriage, you're probably going to be completely discouraged and all of that.
And you need to read you a good book, because they got some fairy tale marriages in some books. But that's where they stay, because they know they're going to come out those pages in your life unless you're going to work them like they worked in that fairy tale.
I'll leave it to Beaver or Brady Bunch. You guys, this is Monday school for me. We don't have Sunday school anymore. We have Monday school. So I had to leave Monday school to come join you guys. That's why I've not been joining you guys.
Well, we thank you for schooling the people tonight. You schooled some people tonight. So this was Monday school for somebody tonight. So we definitely appreciate you teaching in our class tonight. So
well, I appreciate you guys inviting me on. I do thank you. Samantha, bless you, dear.
That's my daddy.
That's my daddy.
That's the stuff that Celia usually say. That's my daddy. I've got 4 great daughters. I'm telling you, I have 4 great daughters. Great kids. I'm serious. I'm so proud of them.
You did a good job. I got one of them, and let me tell you, I appreciate you. I appreciate you raising them.
Hey,
I've seen it not work out so well.
You know, how do I exit this? I'm trying to leave. I can't figure out how to.
We about to wrap it up right now. So we appreciate everybody. Thank you for joining us for Man Talk Mondays tonight. We're gonna catch y'all next week right here. Peace out.